Joy, joy, joy.
Hey guys, today I am going to talk about behavior management in my class. And I don't have any notes or anything. I'm just going off the top of my head. Someone asked me, how is it that my classroom, I'm sorry in advance for this video because it probably will be a little bit too long, especially because I am not organized enough these days to write down my thoughts and I'm just going off the top of my dome. The question was basically like, what do I do to make sure that my class runs smoothly, I guess. So that's like behavior management, I guess. So the main thing that I do is make sure that I do things to show my students that I care about them. And that might sound cliche, but I'm telling you, if students know that you care about them, then they will have that healthy fear of displeasing you and they will work hard to make you happy and also make sure that the rest of their peers make you happy too. Like they keep themselves in check. The first couple of weeks, I'm thankful that my principal, she kind of has this thing where yes, she wants us to teach, but she really wants the first 2 weeks of school to be about building those relationships with our students. And so during those 2 weeks, I do teach, but I also make sure that I do things to let my students know that I care about them. Like I get to know them, ask them about their likes and dislikes. And the thing that is a benefit for me is that I've been at this same school since I started teaching. I was a paraprofessional or a teacher's aide at other schools, but once I became certified as a school teacher, I have been at this same school. So my last semester of student teaching, I was at this school, and then I was hired by the same school the following year. When I was a 4th grade student teacher, I was able to build relationships, and then I ended up teaching a lot of those same students the following year. And then I built relationships with younger students, just seeing them through the halls and things like that. And so some of those students I'm now teaching, and then many of my previous students, now I teach their siblings. So their siblings already kind of had an idea of who I was because of their older brothers and sisters. So that's one thing. Building those connections are so important. So like if a student tells you that he or she likes to play a sport, keep that in the back of your head. That's what I do. And so then I'm able to bring that up and be like, hey, do you have a game coming up? How did y'all do on your game last week or whatever? Just get to know like at least one thing that your students like. And I know that that can be hard. I've had lots of practice with it. When I taught 5th grade, I taught 4 different classes. So I had like 100 students that I had to get to know, and I was still able to get to know at least something about each of those students so that I could bring that back to mine. And so that helps whenever there is like a behavior situation and I know that a student likes baseball and plays baseball, then I can come back and say, hey, the way that you're acting today, do you feel like your future coach will take the time to try to redirect you all the time while you're interrupting his practice? Or do you think that he'd rather have someone on the team who is going to follow those instructions and all of that kind of stuff? And so like making those connections about what interests the child will help them to want to do better. I also do community circles in my class. It does take up a chunk of our time to be able to sit there and let every student be able to share how they're feeling and what they're dealing with. If there are times when like students are just not acting right and it just seems like a lot of the class is just not on the right track, we'll stop our learning, we'll get in a circle, and then we'll discuss how students are feeling at the time. Sometimes when students are just not acting right, they're not going to learn if they're not in the right mindset or if there are a lot of distractions and things. So sometimes you just have to stop your lesson just to figure out what is going on. And students will tell you what's going on, and they get it out, and then we say, all right, get back to where we were, and now let's actually get some learning done. I make sure that I treat my students the same way that I treat my own child, within reason. So I don't have the authority to discipline my students the same way that I discipline my child at home. But there is a measure of what I can do. The way that my voice comes out a lot of the times lets the students know that I'm not playing with them. So I'm able to put enough of a healthy fear into students that they don't want to know what their actions could lead to if they continue to do those negative things that they're doing. It's kind of like a fine line that you have to figure out. Like, I don't scare my students to the point where they think I'm going to harm them, but I put enough healthy fear into them so they just don't take me there to see what that next step is. And then I'm crazy, and I think that helps out a lot. Like, I'm literally crazy, and I will dance and get really crazy. And that little bit of crazy, well, a lot of crazy that I am, is good because the students don't know what my next move will be, because they don't know what could happen because I'm crazy. Like, they don't try me. Also, another really good tip is to get in good with the parents. I've had students tell me in the past, my mom, my dad says that you're his or her favorite teacher because you let them know everything. They know I will text or call in a second. But I also know that I am the sheriff of my classroom. And so I don't need the students to feel like I can't handle a situation. I do inform the parents of a lot of things, but it's just that it's informing them. And a lot of times I'll tell my students, you need to go home and let your parents know how your day was, because I'm going to let them know. And it's better to come from you than from me. So I'll either call or send a text home saying something along the lines of, your child's day wasn't as good as it could have been. I instructed him to let you know how the day went, and I hope that's what happened. And a lot of times the parents will be like, yes, they did tell me what happened today. Thank you for checking. And so I haven't received negative comments from parents. And many times the parents don't even reply, but I know they got the message because the children will tell me the next day, or I'll ask the children and they'll let me know, or I'll see them like at field day or something and they'll thank me for keeping them in the loop and all of that. So the parents, many of them do appreciate it, even if they don't express their appreciation. So that way the students know, okay, so whatever happens at school is going to be reinforced at home, and vice versa. Sometimes, like, if I've tried all my little tricks and they're not working, I'll ask the parent, what kind of things do you do at home to get your child to do A, B, and C? I've had in the past parents tell me my child doesn't do A, B, and C at home, or whatever it is. And so then I'm not able to really get anything from the parents. But there have been occasions where parents have given me some feedback and shared with me what things they do. And then I'm able to incorporate some of those things at school. So that goes again with having that communication with parents and letting the students own up to their wrongdoing. So basically it all boils down to respect. If you give your students respect, if they know that you care about them, then they are going to be in a better position to want to please you. And when certain students start getting off task, a lot of times they'll remind them that they need to change their behavior because they don't want to see me sad or whatever. Like when we have good days, several students will come up to me and they'll just say how happy they are that I'm in a good mood, or how happy they are that we had a good day. And I mean, that just makes the day go by smoother. We get to learn, we get to have fun. If you would like to know more about teaching or what I do in my classroom or anything like that, I do have some vlogs. I just wanted to come in and say hello to you all and just share this with y'all because I was asked. So let me know if you would like for me to post anything else. And thank y'all so much for watching. I hope I helped some of you out. Bye.